In the shadows of Australia's booming illicit drug trade, young men are lured with the promise of quick money, only to find themselves trapped in a dangerous underworld. One such victim was Chong Kai Jacky Wong, a Malaysian national who arrived in Australia seeking a better future, but instead met a gruesome end. Jacky's disappearance in late 2020 initially raised little alarm, but as months passed, his family's desperate search uncovered a chilling reality. This video delves into the dark world of illegal cannabis production in Australia, how vulnerable individuals are recruited into these operations, and the series of events that led to Jacky Wong's untimely death. Australia has become a lucrative hub for large-scale illegal cannabis cultivation, with Vietnamese crime syndicates playing a major role in its production and distribution. These networks operate vast cannabis farms hidden in rural properties, growing thousands of plants worth millions of dollars. These locations are selected carefully to avoid law enforcement detection while maximizing profits. The criminal groups use advanced hydroponic setups, including high-powered lighting, irrigation systems, and climate control measures, to speed up plant growth and increase yield. The final product is then transported and distributed across major cities, where it enters the illegal drug market. The operation of these Vietnamese crime groups is highly organized and structured in three primary levels. At the top, the heads are the masterminds, those who orchestrate the entire operation, manage the finances, and maintain international connections to launder the illicit earnings. These individuals are not directly involved in cultivation, but are responsible for the large-scale coordination of the cannabis trade, ensuring the system runs smoothly. Below them are the facilitators, who play a crucial role in the day-to-day operations. They handle the setup of grow houses, supply the necessary materials, and recruit crop sitters, often young migrants, to tend to the crops. Facilitators also manage the logistical side of things, including the stolen electricity used to power the grow houses and arranging real estate transactions to hide the operations from authorities. One of the most disturbing aspects of these operations, however, is the exploitation of vulnerable individuals, mainly young Vietnamese migrants, who work at the bottom of this hierarchy as crop sitters, responsible for physically maintaining the cannabis crops. Many are lured into the cannabis industry with promises of quick and easy money, unaware of the dangerous conditions they will face. Others knowingly enter Australia with the intention of working in illegal grow houses, expecting to make between $20,000 and $30,000 in a short period. These crop sitters typically live inside the grow houses or remote farms, isolated from the outside world. They are responsible for maintaining the plants, monitoring temperature and humidity, and preventing detection by law enforcement. They work long hours under strict conditions, often with limited food and poor living standards. In some cases, crop sitters are not fully aware of the risks they are exposed to when they are recruited into the operation. They may think they are coming to Australia for a better future, but instead they become trapped in an illegal industry. Once recruited, they are often under constant surveillance and subjected to threats to keep them from escaping or revealing the operation to authorities. If law enforcement raids occur, it is typically the crop sitters who are arrested, while the higher-ups in the syndicate remain out of reach. The ability of these criminal groups to exploit vulnerable individuals is largely facilitated by loopholes in Australia's visa system. Many Vietnamese nationals arrive on student or tourist visas, often with the help of corrupt migration brokers. Some crop sitters are lured into Australia with the promise of enrolling in English language courses, only to abandon their studies once they arrive, focusing entirely on working in cannabis cultivation. Others overstay their visas, knowing that their chances of being caught are slim as long as they stay out of sight. This exploitation of the migration system has allowed these syndicates to continue operating without significant interference from authorities. Chong Kai Jacky Wong, a 24-year-old Malaysian national, was one of the many young individuals caught up in these criminal operations. Lured by the promise of making big money, he arrived in Australia on a holiday visa in 2016 at just 20 years old, and soon became involved with a Southeast Asian crime syndicate operating a large-scale cannabis farm in Ulaanbaatar. a remote town about 40 kilometres from Bathurst in western New South Wales. There he worked as a crop sitter and was responsible for looking after a large number of marijuana plants, between 500 and 1,000, that were being cultivated for the illegal drug trade. He helped set up the drug plantation, install the greenhouses and sheds where the cannabis plants were grown, and even invested $10,000 of his own money, believing that he would get a big payday once the operation became successful. However, instead of profit, Jacky met a brutal fate. His family last heard from him on December 27th, 2020. Just 24 hours later, on December 28th, 2020, he would be killed and buried on the same farm he helped build. It will take 2 years for Jacky's family to know what happened that day. The breakthrough in the case came in March 2022 with the arrest of Jacky's fellow crime syndicate members Yilin Liu, Yuzong Chen and Jacky Wong. After being arrested by police, Wong agreed to assist detectives in their investigation and provided them with a detailed statement about the events that led up to and followed Jacky's death. According to Wong, he had been brought into the drug cartel by Jacky with the promise of a substantial payday. Wong initially worked as a driver before progressing to roles involving cooking drugs and assisting in the cultivation of cannabis plants. On the night of December 28th, 2020, Wong was downstairs in the farmhouse when he overheard a conversation between Jacky and Yilin Liu. Liu told Jacky, "This is the order from the boss, don't come back to me, come to the boss." Shortly after, Wong heard Jacky scream, followed by a struggle. Wong then went upstairs and found Jacky's lifeless body on a bed, surrounded by the other men involved in the incident. Liu then instructed Wong, saying, "You work for me now." Wong was then told to fetch a tractor while Liu and Yuzong Chen carried Jacky's body downstairs. Wong was offered to help carry the body, but he declined, feeling too scared to do so. Liu insisted that he drive the tractor. Wong, terrified of the men and the boss, and fearing for his safety, complied. Wong, Liu and Chen then drove Jacky's body down to a creek located on the farm. There they dug a hole approximately 2 meters wide and 3 to 4 meters deep. The body was then dumped in the hole. Afterward, when they returned to the farmhouse, Liu warned Wong not to speak about the incident, saying, "Don't ever talk about this again. This is from the boss." For more than 6 months, Jacky's murder remained a dark secret, hidden within the syndicate. However, a plan set in motion by Wong's greed ultimately led to their downfall. In July 2021, Bruce Wong, a family friend who lived in Western Australia, posted Jacky's missing persons notice on Facebook, hoping for any information about his whereabouts. This post was widely shared, and it eventually caught the attention of Wong. He soon created a new account under the name Jimmy, and immediately messaged Bruce. In his message, Wong claimed that he had been involved in growing cannabis with Jacky, and offered to provide information in exchange for $50,000. Weeks later, Wong messaged Jacky's mother directly on WhatsApp, claiming that her son was gone, and again reiterated his demand for $50,000, threatening to withhold further information. Wong's chilling message included a disturbing revelation: "I saw where they buried him." This direct approach set off alarm bells. Jacky's family quickly alerted Western Australian police, and the investigation soon took a critical turn. An undercover officer from the WA police assumed the identity of Bruce Wong and began communicating with Wong, pretending to be a family friend, desperate to find out where Jacky's remains were located. Over the next few months, the undercover officer, now using the name Hao, engaged Wong in a series of conversations in which Wong continued to demand money. Wong made it clear that he was not going to reveal the location of the body unless $50,000 was transferred into his bank account. In a strikingly cold and calculated move, Wong promised to provide specific details, including geolocation, address, and photos, in exchange for the payment. In response, the police facilitated a partial $5,000 deposit into Wong's account, which he acknowledged but refused to provide any substantial information. He demanded the full $50,000, or else he would stop communicating. Wong made it clear that the location of the body was a secret he controlled, and he would go to great lengths to maintain his grip on it. When Hao, the undercover officer, pressed Huang for more details, Huang threatened to deactivate his account if the full amount wasn't deposited. Despite the partial payment, Huang remained uncooperative, demanding the rest of the money. He even set a deadline for February 20th, 2022, threatening to block Hao and cease communication altogether if the money wasn't received. Finally, police facilitated a final payment of $45,000 into Huang's account. But after Huang withdrew the funds, he blocked the undercover officer and refused to provide any further details. Huang, however, had already revealed a critical clue, the name of the property where Jacky had worked. Armed with this information, authorities launched an investigation into the Kilongbuta property in March 2022 and were ready to make arrests. On March 25th, 2022, a raid was conducted at Huang's residence in Berala, Sydney. Huang, 33, was arrested and charged with a range of serious offences, including murder, cultivating a commercial quantity of cannabis, and dishonestly obtaining a financial advantage by deception. He was subsequently denied bail and appeared in court in May 2022. Further arrests followed. On March 29th, 2022, police raided a property in Auburn, arresting 22-year-old Yilin Liu, who was charged with murder and drug-related offences. In addition, 28-year-old Yuzong Chen was arrested and charged with concealing a serious indictable offence and multiple drug offences. Both Liu and Chen appeared in Hornsby Local Court before being transferred to Bathurst Local Court in May 2022, where they too were denied bail. Just 5 days after Huang, Liu and Chen were arrested, police were able to locate Jacky Wong's remains. On Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, after an extensive forensic search that had started the previous Tuesday, his body was found buried on the 44-hectare farm, confirming the chilling details Huang had shared with the undercover officer. Years after his death, Jacky's family finally found closure, as the 3 key individuals involved in his murder were brought to justice. Junqi Huang, the mastermind behind the extortion plan, was sentenced to a minimum of 3 years and 4 months in prison after pleading guilty to being an accessory after the fact to murder and obtaining a financial advantage by deception. Huang's involvement in the criminal activities, particularly his role in extorting the Wong family for $50,000, was a significant part of the case against him. His sentencing occurred in March 2025 in the Supreme Court. Yuzong Chen, who was involved in concealing the crime and participating in the criminal group in 2024, was sentenced to a minimum of 2 years and 2 months in jail. He had pleaded guilty to charges of concealing a serious indictable offence, participating in a criminal group, and several drug-related offences. Yilin Liu, the man who was directly responsible for the murder, pleaded guilty to the crime in September 2024. Liu was the one who had physically killed Jacky, and his actions were a central part of the murder investigation. Liu's sentencing is scheduled for June 11th, 2025 in the Supreme Court. The tragic case of Chong Kai Jacky Wong underscores the dangers of organised crime and illegal cannabis cultivation in Australia. Jacky, a young man seeking a better life, became ensnared in a criminal network that ultimately led to his brutal death. His story also highlights the ruthless nature of drug syndicates, which exploit young and vulnerable individuals, trapping them in a life of crime from which escape is nearly impossible. Law enforcement continues to crack down on these illegal operations, but the lure of quick money ensures that such tragedies will likely persist. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you want more stories from the Australian underworld, please consider subscribing and liking this video. It really helps me out and helps the channel grow. Till next time, take care.